Welcome back. There was some news made this week when prosecutors began releasing evidence in the case against Nicholas Cruz, and maybe one of the most jarring things that was released was some cell phone videos that he took. I want to play a brief portion of one of those now.
Hello, my name is Nick, and I'm going to be the next school shooter of 2018. My goal is at least 20 people. With an AR-15 and a couple tracer rounds, I think I could get done. Location is Stone Douglas in Parkland, Florida. It's going to be a big event.
Absolutely chilling. It goes on like that. We're joined once again by Superintendent Robert Runcie. I'm assuming you've seen that before.
Yes, I saw that yesterday. Actually.
And what's your reaction when you see something like that?
It reaffirms one of the big takeaways that I've gotten from this entire experience, and that is that we've got to do a better job in Broward and across this nation to make sure that we don't have any disconnected youth in our schools or wandering around our communities. They need to be connected to a mentor. They need to be connected to some programs, some activities. They need to have some purpose. They need to have relationships in their life. And when that disappears, you have the potential for a disaster.
Did the Broward School District fail in not seeing and recognizing this sooner?
Well, let me just say that we are getting near the tail end of doing our internal investigation and review through an independent organization of Nicholas Cruz's entire academic history, the services he received, the discipline, how that was all done, and wherever we find that there were issues, there were problems, things that weren't done the way they should.
But you must have some sense by now, and certainly parents are wanting to know. Can you give us at least some sense of what you're being told that's going to come out in this report that you're going to present? I mean, give us at least some clue as to what is it going to cite specific failings within the school district.
Well, I absolutely believe that we're going to find areas where we should have taken different types of steps in terms of how services were delivered to him, decisions around placement in schools and programs. Yes, I believe we will find some areas where there were issues.
Mistakes. We use the word mistakes.
Mistakes, things that need to be fixed, errors that were made, and we're going to own up to those. We're going to hold folks accountable, and we're going to use those opportunities to make sure that we train and set staff around this county, and that we put policies in place to impact that. And I'll tell you that this school board, which is a school board that, since I've been on it, the vast majority of them have had, and some of them still do, have their own kids, their own children in this public school system. So when they make policy and they make decisions, it's very personal. And I can tell you, they're not making policy and providing oversight in a way that's going to adversely affect the system.
I want to get to the Promise program because, I think it was about a week or so after the shooting. It was the first day back to class at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. You held a press conference, and here's what you said when the question about the Nicholas Cruz and the Promise program was raised. Let's play that video now.
This particular individual, Cruz, was never he never participated in the Promise program, wasn't eligible for it. There's no connection between Cruz and the district's Promise program. As far as discipline in the district, I think there's been some concern that somehow the district is lax on discipline for infractions. I can tell you on an annual basis, we expel over 300 kids a year. We have thousands of students that receive suspensions. We're very serious about our discipline code of conduct, which you can find online. We apply it and work with our schools to make sure it's done consistently. Cruz did not participate in any Promise program. There's no connection between Cruz and anything in that realm.
So that statement turned out not to be true.
Let me just say this. I've tried to make sure that I'm transparent and clear with the public as much as possible. So I provide information to the greatest extent in terms of what we have at the time. We continue to do investigations. What I will tell you about that particular situation is that we are still trying to make a determination, a conclusive determination of whether crews participated in the program or not. What we have is a document that we found that says he may have gone through an intake process.
He was referred.
Referred to it, right? But in terms of participation, we have no record of that, and we're still working through to make sure we confirm that.
I guess what I'm wondering is, when did you realize that what you said? And I take you at your word. I don't believe that you were trying to deceive or the public there. I think that you were working on the best information you had at the time. But at some point, you become aware that he was referred to the program.
It was about maybe 4 or 5 days before it came out public. Before it came out public.
Why not then come forward on your own and see? That's where you get into trouble, I think, is because you get caught, as opposed to saying, look, I said this then, let's modify, we're still learning, but here's what do I know now.
We had talked about that, but and that's something we plan to do, but in this day and age, information sometimes gets out there beyond us. And what I will say is that we weren't completing the research on that yet to determine, and we wanted to make sure that when we talked about it, we could actually say with clarity and be definitive about what his participation in the program was. And like I said, we don't have any documentation around it. We're still working through
I had some sound from Marco Rubio criticizing. I'm not going to play that now, so I'm letting the booth know that we're going to kill that sound. But and saying that the Promise program, that in concept it's a good idea, but that we probably have gone too far the other way. I have two questions, and then we'll take another break. But my first question is, what does it say that it's taken you months to compile a comprehensive understanding of Nicholas Cruz's engagement, involvement in your school district? I just assumed that there was a file somewhere with every student, and then you would be able to see either on computer or in paper. It's taken you months now to compile it.
So let me. So you're absolutely right.
I got a producer just yelled at me.
Oh, okay.
So we'll answer that on the other side of the break. Why isn't this more readily available to you?
Okay.
We'll answer that when we come back.